Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Greyboard Gamer here with the continuation of my playthrough of Eldritch Horror. We're going to leave Norman Withers in charge. He's doing a great job leading this team. He's going to stay as our lead investigator. First thing I want to do with him is heal him while he's there in London. And he has full health, but he's down 1 insanity, so I'll heal him 1 to get him back up to his max of 7. I'm going to, for his second action, move him into Rome, spend his ship ticket that he has to move him to where that clue is in order for him to have a research encounter. Now I'm hoping he can get that clue, because what I want to do is eventually get him over to Tunguska, or I could get him over here to the expedition, because both of them require good observation, and he has 3. He's the best investigator we have with an observation skill. Now, he would have to spend clues equal to half, and this would only give him 1, but Norman does have that special encounter, or that special action that's passive that says once per round he may spend 1 of his sanity in place of spending a clue. So he could have 1 clue, use that to make another one, and you require the 2 that are achieve the 2 that are required for either one of these. So we're going to leave Norman there. That's done with his action phase. For Akachi, I'm going to have her move and spend her ship ticket to move to India. I'm trying to get her closer to Tunguska because she has a stack of 3 tokens here, so she has enough to spend even though her observation is only 2. And I'm going to send Norman over here to the heart of Africa to try and take care of this ongoing Mythos card. And while she's there, so I'll be able to get her closer quicker, I'm going to have her prepare for travel for her second turn and get a rail ticket for her to use in order to get closer to Tunguska. Our friend Jim Culver over here was delayed, so he doesn't get to do any actions. He just gets to stand up. He'll be able to have an encounter though on that with that clue for a research encounter, so at least he was in a good space to be delayed. Mark's here in Rome with that star spawn, but he doesn't have enough items left to try and take that star spawn out. So I'm going to get him out of Rome and move him to Istanbul, where I will now rest him so he can gain back 1 health and 1 sanity because of the beating he took while fighting that star spawn. Our player action phase is completed. Our first person to have their encounter is Norman. They're on that clue and a wilderness space. We'll draw our research encounter. See what we get. A meteor exploded in the air, scattering a glowing green powder. You try to find a sufficient amount of this compound. So he's going to do an observation check, -1. Well, if there's anyone that we want to do that at a disadvantage of 1, that's Norman, because he already has a 3, so at least he'll get 2 shots at it. Norman is going to try and get enough of that green powder from this comet to see if he can make sense of it. Oh, guess that stuff's really hard to find. Norman was unsuccessful. Norman didn't make it. He didn't pass. So if you fail, you're exposed to a terrible energy emanating from the substance. Lose 1 health. Well, he's going to lose 1 health. Norman will be down to 4 health now. Next we have Akachi, who's on a city space. You make sure no one is watching before sneaking out of the shop with your stolen goods. Well, I'm surprised by Akachi stealing things. have to do an observation check. And she has an observation of 2. There's something we didn't know about Akachi. She's a shoplifter. Is she a good one? No, she's not. Akachi failed, and she was caught by the store owner and arrested. And she's going to gain a detained condition. Well, there's a detained condition right on top of the deck. And while she has this detained condition, you cannot move or perform actions other than the action on this card. Instead of resolving an encounter, flip this card. Local action, test, influence. If you pass, discard. Well, she can't do much of anything until this detained condition is taken care of. We have Jim Culver up here in America, able to conduct a research encounter. He's on a city. Scientists report that their sample of radium was stolen. Your investigation indicates a connection to worshippers of Azathoth. Need to do an observation check. And Jim's current observation is 2. Is Jim a good investigator? Is he going to find out where this radium's at? Oh, he just might. He's got a success. If you pass, you discover signs of cult activity. Gain this clue. Well, Jim did a good job there. So he's going to gain another clue. He's getting a pretty big stack of them there. He's got 4 now. We need to get Jim close to Tunguska, or the heart of Africa. I think we'll take him along this sea route to bring him over there. And we have Mark Harrigan in Istanbul, ready to have his encounter. Inside the loud hustle and bustle of the Grand Bazaar, you negotiate to find a skilled instructor to tutor you. So we need to do an influence check -1. Mark has a current influence of 2, but this test is at a -1. Let's see if he can find him an instructor. He can! Yes! Good job, Mark. If you pass, improve one skill of your choice. For Mark, I want him to be able to have more opportunity to get items from the reserve, so I will improve his influence by an additional 1 to give him a total of 3. That is the end of our encounter phase. Time for another Mythos card to take effect. First, we need to move the Omen track. The bad news is the Omen track is moving to the green gate, which currently has 2 Eldritch tokens on it. And because of Azathoth's effect, our Doom track is going to move closer to Doom, 1 for each Eldritch token on that green gate symbol, which is 2 right now, so we're going from 13 down to 11. Next we have a Monster Surge, and we're currently on the green gate symbol. There are no green gates on the board, which means we'll have to spawn a new gate in San Francisco, which is a green gate. So a new gate appears in San Francisco, accompanied by some form of something, and it is a goat spawn. So a goat spawn appears. Let's try and get that camera to focus for us. Yes, there we go. And the goat spawn appears with the gate in San Francisco. And lastly, we're going to spawn 2 clue tokens. First one will be on 6 in America. And the next one will be in Istanbul. Right here next to Mark. You compared the picture in the magazine to the drawing on the old tattered map. It was definitely a match, but what could be so valuable that requiring so much secrecy? And why was that particular point on the map marked with blood? Heart of corruption. The lead investigator gains 1 artifact, then rolls 1 die. On a 1 or 2, he loses 2 health and 2 sanity. Well, that's bad news for Norman. First, we're going to gain an artifact, which is the Flute of the Outer Gods. It's a magical item. I can spend 2 health and 2 sanity to defeat all monsters on my space. Well, considering Norman's not very strong otherwise, that could come in handy for him, but it may cost him quite a bit. Now I need to roll a die, and if I get a 1 or a 2, he's going to lose 2 health and 2 sanity. Norman needs something besides a 1 or a 2. Oh, Norman. Norman got a 2. Norman gained an artifact, but it did some damage. He currently has 4 health. He's going to take 2 and be down to 2. And he has 7 sanity, which will put him now at 5. Norman took a beating this time. That's the end of our Mythos phase. Things are starting to get a little difficult for us out there. We have 2 gates opened. We have 4 monsters on the board. We have an active Mythos card that we need to take care of here in the heart of Africa, because this can end the game and also knock off all of our expedition chances. We have our current mystery up in Tunguska that we need to send people to. We need clues, at least 2 at each of them, to get that done. So we got a lot of work to do. We have investigators that are getting close. They're in the area. Got people near Tunguska. I got a couple of people working towards the heart of Africa. We need to probably close one of these gates. I probably have Jim work on that since he's close to this one in San Francisco and it doesn't involve a star spawn. Got a lot of work to do. Things are going okay. Our doom is currently on 11. We're going to continue our fight against Azazoth in the next turn. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you there.